Hey there, welcome to day 23 of our free 30-day Get Up and Go Challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. We're going to be talking about our emotional aspect of our life with respect to our SOAP framework. Now, why did I pick emotion next? Because this is the order I memorized and I've always set my goals and objectives in with respect to handling the different areas and aspects of my life. Well, because I believe, like communication and confidence, our emotional health, as well as our physical health, our mental health, and our spiritual health, are foundational. They all interact and intermingle and impact one another. So what tool are we going to use to go through the S, the O, the A, and the P of our emotions? Because we have 6 more areas of our life to cover, and we only have, 9 days left, 10 days left with one another? Oh, it's 23rd, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28, 29, 30, 31. 8 days left. So we have 8 days left, 6 areas to cover. We want to do a summary and then another cool activity at the end to make sure that we really cement into our subconscious this SOAP framework. So our emotional area of our life has to do with all of the emotions that we feel. And one of my favorite tools I learned from Abraham Hicks is the emotional guidance system. This is not necessarily their version of the emotional guidance system, but it's one that I could print out today and I wanted to show you. You can go online, you can Google, you can Bing, you can Yahoo, you can use whatever search engine you choose to search for emotional guidance system. You'll get all kinds of graphics and all kinds of detailed information on what the emotional guidance system is, how it works, and how we can use it to improve our life and get better results in our life. Basically, it breaks down all of our emotions. It puts them in a grid, a spiral. Some of our emotions make us feel better and get us in an upward moving spiral. Other emotions make us feel worse and we get into a downward spiral and we start feeling worse and worse and worse. Our objective with respect to the emotional guidance system is to always just reach for a slightly better feeling emotion. So for example, I need a magnifying glass, but if I am feeling, let's say, overwhelmed, because I have felt that a lot in my life. That's 11 on this particular spiral, and it's on the downward spiral side. So if I want to feel better, guess what's frustration is actually better than overwhelm. Frustration, irritation, and impatience is better than overwhelm. And pessimism is higher, as is boredom. So it's better to be bored, pessimistic, or frustrated than it is to be overwhelmed. So all I want to do is I want to use this guide and this emotional level to reach for a better feeling. So that's kind of the strategy here. So our emotional guidance system, it covers basically the different realms of emotions. And we want to pick one today, and pick any emotion and use this SOAP framework. Apply the SOAP framework to it so that we can go from where we are, our story, what emotion are we feeling and how are we experiencing this emotion now currently, but how do we want to experience this emotion? So if I am feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, fearful, doubtful, full of worry, things like that, and I don't want to feel those emotions anymore. I want to feel better emotions. I want to feel lighter. I want to feel happier. I want to enjoy my life more. I need to reach for emotions that are higher up on the emotional scale. Of course, the top of the emotional scale is joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. The bottom of the scale, get this: fear, grief, depression, powerlessness, and victim. So if I'm feeling like a victim, that is absolutely the worst place, the worst position I can be in with respect to the emotional guidance system. If I am feeling fear or depression, that is the bottom of the emotional guidance system. So anything I can feel almost is better than that. Anger, worry are better than that. Insecurity, guilt, unworthiness, jealousy, hatred, and rage, revenge, and anger are all moving up the scale, as are discouragement, blame, worry, doubt, disappointment, overwhelmment, and we went through some of these. And on the other side, the upward spiral starts with contentment at level 7, to hopefulness, to optimism, to positive expectations and belief, enthusiasm, passion, and then at the top, joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. So if we're feeling like a victim, the opposite of that is freedom. That's just a quick and dirty run through the emotional guidance system. I say if you've never heard of this, look it up. It is such a powerful tool. So how do we use that in our framework and discussing and living through our emotions? Because as much as we like to think we're rational thinking, subjective beings, we are not. We are emotional human beings. We feel our emotions first, then we see things in pictures and visualize, then we add words to it, and then we start to think about, and that process gets us thinking about the emotion that we're feeling to describe it and explain it or justify it before we can do anything about it. So what is the story? So let's pick an emotion. I haven't picked one yet, so let's pick, I like doubt, fear, worry, but fear's way at the bottom of the scale, so that's pretty easy. Well, let's do it then. Let's pick fear, because all of us are afraid of something. So I'm gonna pick fear. What is my current story around fear? That's the S. And what do I want it to be? Well, what am I afraid of? What am I currently afraid of? And virtually, I don't want to be afraid of anything. When I'm feeling fear, I want somehow to eliminate that fear or act in spite of that fear so that I'm not experiencing fear hardly ever. So that's my story, current and desired. What are my options? What are ways that I can regulate or manage that emotion, or I can go from fear to a better feeling emotion using the emotional guidance scale? Well, just about anything is better than fear, because fear is at the bottom of the emotional guidance system. So what are 3 ways that I can change or regulate or increase that emotion? Well, number 1, I can name that emotion. I can call that emotion fear, or I want to name it. I want to say, okay, what am I feeling right now? So I want to name it so I can find it on the scale, so I can reach for a better feeling emotion. Then number 2, I want to reframe what I'm thinking around that. Well, what is causing me to think that I'm feeling fear? Am I really feeling fear, or am I just nervous or apprehensive, or am I actually excited? Because sometimes excitement and fear feel exactly the same way to me, and they might to you as well. Like frustration and overwhelm often felt the same to me, but really overwhelm was me feeling frustrated for a while until I get to the point of feeling overwhelmed. So I learned by using the emotional guidance system that in order to feel better, to get out of overwhelm, all I had to do was feel frustrated about something. And when I identified what I was frustrated about, then I could move up the scale further. And number 3, I want to engage in mood and state changing activity. So what kind of things help me to move up this scale? I want to identify some of those things. Music, change of scenery, change of pace, change of activity, breathing, meditation, visualization, thinking and focusing on what I want. All of those things help me to pick a better feeling emotion. Sometimes I just call the emotion something different, and that actually reduces the amount of negative charge or energy I'm feeling with it. So what action am I going to take? I'm going to aim for regulating the emotions that I'm feeling and moving up the emotional guidance system, not suppressing them. Because I found if I try to just talk myself out of feeling afraid, I am just as afraid as I was before. I'm not actually dealing with the thing that's causing me fear. I'm actually enhancing the fear and making myself feel worse instead of better. So I want to just embrace what am I feeling and then take steps to move up the guidance system to feel different feelings. And then how do I know if I'm making progress? Well, I like to ask myself, I like to look at past, present, and future. How have I experienced fear before, and how am I experiencing it now? What am I doing about it? Am I doing nothing? Am I taking action? Am I hiding and avoiding? Or am I saying, no, I need to find ways to feel differently or better so I can alleviate the fear? And one thing I've personally learned about fear is the only way to overcome fear is to actually take action. So what I'd like to do to measure progress is I ask myself, how much time am I spending being in a certain emotion? So if I'm looking at fear, how much time, what a percent of my day or a percent of my life am I spending actually living in the feeling of fear? Because it's great to visit all of these emotions, and we do as human beings. We visit all of them all the time, and some more than others, but it's up to us to decide how much time we actually want to spend experiencing and feeling and living those emotions. That is my 10-minute timer. I actually set my cow timer for the whole SOAP framework in one day because it's easy to go over 10 minutes. So our action item today is to pick an emotion and actually go through the SOAP framework. Ask yourself at the S, what's my story? What's my current story? What do I want it to be? And how am I going to fill that gap? By coming up with different options or ideas of what I could possibly do to change my emotion, to move up the emotional guidance scale, to feel better, pick a better feeling emotion. And again, it doesn't have to necessarily feel like a positive emotion to you. because frustration to me never felt more positive than being overwhelmed. But once I learned that it is up the scale, then I could accept that, and I could actually reach for frustration when I was feeling overwhelmed, because frustrated was better than overwhelmed. And then, what action can I take? We always want to make a decision and pick an action and then do something, and never leave the scene of a decision without taking some action. We want to take some action to help us literally move up that emotional guidance scale. Maybe it's phone a friend, whatever works for you, you want to do that. And then to know if we're making progress or not, ask ourselves and kind of to challenge ourselves, how much time, I just do, how much time am I spending on the downward spiral versus the upward spiral? That's how I manage my emotions, because I know I'm going to always be all over the board with respect to emotions. That's it. That's our action today. Go ahead and share in the comments below just what emotion you worked through the SOAP framework on today. Questions, comments, concerns, please ask, because I know I went through this really, really fast. And if you've never heard of the emotional guidance system, I encourage you to look into it further, because it's such a powerful tool that every single one of us should have in our toolbox to call upon in any area and aspect of our life anytime we need it. That's it. Have an awesome day. Any questions, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow, and hopefully quicker tomorrow. Bye.